We'll go to, it looks like the sheriff's here, so we'll go on to 7.2. Do we have a direct reportney online as well? I think so.
Yeah, I saw.
All right. Consideration of Second Amendment to the Agreement for Medical Services at the Lake County Detention Facility for a 6-month extension in the amount of $1,551,647.22. And B, consideration and discussion of the establishment of an ad hoc committee and its role and purpose. And so with that, I will open this item. CAO Parker.
Yes, this was discussed last week. We provided the amendment. We did have to make a last-minute edit because the date was wrong. It was a 5-month date instead of a 6-month date. Thank you, Bruno, for catching that. And so for that item, that just extends the current agreement for 6 more months. The second item, do you wish me to go forward? Keep going? Okay. Is regarding the RFP and the establishment of a possible ad hoc committee to move to actually establish the scope of the RFP for medical services for the detention facility.
With that, I don't know if the sheriff, you'd like to come up, or?
Good morning. As far as item A, I don't have any input on that. It's the Health Services Administration's contract that's seeking the extension. I'd like to see that get approved so we can continue to provide the medical services at the jail. As far as an ad hoc committee, I would oppose the idea of an ad hoc committee. I don't know that there's a need for that. The statutory obligations and requirements are well outlined within case law in Title 15, as well as the penal code. I don't know that an ad hoc committee would serve a useful purpose. I think there's county staff that can get together and craft an RFP. I've reached out to other sheriff's offices and counties throughout the state and been provided with RFPs from multiple counties that continue to pour in. I shared those with county admin, and I think we could probably get something crafted without the use of an ad hoc committee.
All right, thank you. Director Portney, are you on? Would you like to? There you go.
Good morning, Supervisors. Thank you, CAO Parker, for getting us on the agenda and working with the Health Services Department to finalize the 6-month extension and paperwork with WellPath. I would agree with Sheriff Martin that maybe an ad hoc committee to establish and draft the MOU may not be necessary, but identifying the in-house and exit strategies for WellPath and health services in our county will require some form of group to establish roles, responsibilities, and objectives to address the social determinants of health. If we do not identify the roles and expectations of partnering agencies, we will continue to see reduced or enhanced rather morbidity and mortality in our county as a result of a lack of wraparound services and care. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Portney. All right. Any Supervisor Sabatier?
When I met with CAO Parker yesterday, I actually said the exact same thing. I hope that we can just get our staff department heads together, knock out an RFP, and then come back with what the proposals were and which one is the best fit for the services that are required. I think that would be the easiest way.
Sheriff Martin?
Sure. The ideas of having social determinants of health in the county are lofty. I don't know that they're appropriate to these discussions. We're simply looking for medical services to be provided for our inmates. And that's not necessarily going to result in improved medical conditions. It's to provide the minimum standard of care that's required by the law. If we can get extra programs in there, that's great. The Health Services Director mentioned some exit strategy or an exit plan for Health Services Department of WellPath. I'm not aware of any discussions that would lead one to believe that WellPath isn't a viable alternative or candidate for medical services. I think it's a little bit too early to be starting those discussions. And this also goes back to the discussion from last week. And I know it's not on today's agenda, but I didn't get an answer from last week on who's going to be the responsible agency for administering this contract once it is drafted.
All right, thank you. Did you have your hand? I thought. no,
I did.
Yes.
Apologize.
Go ahead, CAO.
Yes, thank you, Sheriff. He did send out on the listserv the question of, do you have a recent or a current RFP? And he's provided those samples for me. we've already initiated the review of that, and I do feel if the board sees fit that we could easily develop the scope in conjunction with the different departments and bring that, get that, out the door in a very short period of time, probably July or sooner. So, well,
All right.
we'll work very hard to get it done within 2 to 3 weeks.
All right. Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Director Porter, you had your hand up?
And thank you, CAO, for your dedication to supporting the county and leadership and seeing this through. I look forward to working with you on that. I would respectfully argue that social determinants of health do play a important role in how we address whole person care, especially when we are looking at the new CalAIM initiative, which is full scope wraparound care services. That should be incorporated. I look forward to looking into how we do that with our key stakeholders when we establish a new RFP for geomedical services. And just to keep at the forefront of our mind as we spoke about the budget and the potential strategic plan taking into inflation, keeping in mind that these rates may fluctuate in the future. So maybe we might have to, as we go through the RFP process, identify what we can do in-house and what we need to outsource. So when we look at something like connecting people to services when they leave jail, maybe not relying so heavily on WellPath to be that service connector, but maybe leveraging either health services, social services, or behavioral health services. These are all in the weed details when we get to the RFP process. And my final comment would be when it comes to RFP dissemination for potential candidates to execute this work. Who is going to be proctoring the RFP process, putting together the panel? Do we need specific key stakeholders to do this? Those are some questions that I have that maybe can be answered offline. Thank you.
All right. CAO?
Yes, we'll be more than happy to answer those questions offline. Director Portney, we do have a policy and procedures in place. And we'll, with your permission, the board's permission, we'll take the lead on it to get it, so we can get it done. We're well-versed in RFPs, so we're more than willing to assist in moving this forward quickly.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, CAO Parker. I appreciate you again.
Supervisor Sabatier?
And at this moment, I know that the contract is being conducted by Health Services, and I would suggest that that's where it probably will end up. But if there's reasons that make it for why it should be moved to a different place, that those reasons need to be for better outcomes. But at this moment, I would suggest that that would be the direction that I'm expecting it to go.
All right. Go ahead and open this up to the public. If there's any comments from the public in the chambers or even on Zoom, please raise your hand.
I was about to go under the table.
Oh, no. Okay, I'm not seeing any, so I'll bring it back to the board for action. And so if I'm hearing correctly, of course, we have the extension, but then it's looking ad hoc committee, basically, or should we just go ahead and do the first item first and then move on to that, Ms. Grant?
I think you can do the first item first, and if you determine that there's still a need for the second, then you can take action on that as well.
Thank you. So on the first item, the extension, I'm looking for action.
Mr. Chair, I move to approve the Second Amendment to the Agreement for Medical Services at the Lake County Detention Facility for a six-month extension in the amount of $1,551,647.22.
Second.
So I have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. And item B, I know that both of the sheriff and the director Portney has stated they don't recommend the ad hoc committee, so I'm not sure where we're at with that.
I agree.
Just work with the CAO to get this completed.
Excellent. All right, with that, what would I need to open up for public input briefly? And then if there's anyone in the public that would like to state anything on this portion of the item on the agenda? I'm not seeing any in the chambers or on Zoom. Bring it back to the board to basically just dismiss this item.